get a gun.
You get a gun. Welcome to Inane Blather.
You get a gun.
This is how you don't podcast, folks, is you introduce your 142nd episode with something like that, because we were talking out of context, different conversation, start off the episode with the end of the conversation talking about something that would get you demonetized when you have it within like the first minute of a YouTube video. So relax and take notes.
As what not to do.
Yes. Yeah. And all of you fellow I can't do this. Just say all you fellow OGs out there will recognize
and take notes.
That reference, of course. It's episode 142 of Inane Blather, where we proclaim from the rooftops, much as Bernie did, that
the American people are tired of women.
It's way too quiet. Way too quiet. Bernie is not that quiet.
The American people are tired of women.
It's much more like that. Woo. Jesus Christ. Okay. That's what this podcast brings you, is a lot of
dead air
and a lot of
I mean, if you did a second one, was it dead air?
Yes.
Is that the joke? Okay. I was like, your soundboard didn't work.
Oh, it's not. It's kind of cutting out on your end, I think, is what's going on here. So I'll have to check. But we'll get right into it after these special messages from your hometown group of
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
And we're back. So, we were complaining about a few different things.
Classic.
Yeah, before starting the show. We can start off the show in classic fashion and not complain. I hope everything is going well for you. How is the weather over there?
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what I was
thinking. So beautiful today. Wow. It's going to be in the 70s all week. Gets warm, here over in the area. No air conditioning. We live in an old barn.
Ooh, yeah.
So insulation, not great. But I did just get
in
some
old barn.
An old barn in what they call Garlic Gulch. And then Dad was like, is that because there's like a bunch of like, he's like, is that like appropriate to say? Because I know like a lot of Koreans live in that area. And I was like, oh, I thought it used to be like, it's like a farm. And he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I was like, that's what it says, like online and stuff, like about the area of Seattle that we live in.
Yeah.
But
he's like, yeah, that's also, that's why they call it King County, I'm sure. Yeah. It's all retroactive.
Yeah.
Retconning.
Yeah. But, so really nice. It's supposed to be like 80 degrees on Sunday. So that'll be really lovely. It's been beautiful. Been beautiful weather. It kind of rained over the weekend, but that's nice, I like it. We went to a
good for you
Honk Fest. Ever heard of it? No, probably. But it's like a free festival in Seattle. It happens over the course of 3 days, over 3 different, like one in South Seattle, one in Georgetown, and one in Central District. It's like New Orleans style bands playing, just like a lot of brass. Like there'll be like 3 different locations and people from all over Seattle and Portland and the United States and come, and it's like this whole free thing.
What?
It was amazing. It was was so like fun. I thought of you so much. One of them, and people just like over the top, and like one of the bands that we stood there and watched, that would have been a nice day for it to be sunny all day, but it did rain quite a bit in the morning. But
bunch of rusty trumpets.
Yeah, and trombones, what I mean.
No, that's disgusting.
There was a band that everybody was dressed up
let's not be crass on this show, please.
like an anime character or like a movie character or TV show or whatever, and they did songs from like Star Wars and Zelda and different stuff, but it's like, you know, like 2 trombones, like 3 trumpets and like drum line. There was some of that. It's just very like New Orleans like energy too, like coming out in the crowd. There's like, oh man, it was and it was free. It's like, that's awesome, you know. And their website, really, really easy to use. I'm like, how does a free festival have this infrastructure? Yeah, it just was really, really good vibes.
Despite the fact
before that
you were just walking around the entire time with your garlicky attitude, just saying,
this is the worst music I've ever heard, honestly. This is like truly offensive.
And just putting down everyone around you.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Are you pro-slavery, Natalie? What the fuck are you talking about?
You know.
Yeah.
So you had some...
Yeah, because it would have kept jazz music from
beef
happening.
with them.
So that's my... Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And before that, Humby and I went to a rally for Katie Wilson, who's running for the mayor of Seattle. And she was speaking there. And it was really like... Actually, like when she got up to speak... It was really moving. Like the crowd,
You're
she got a little choked up.
nonpartisan,
Everyone in the crowd.
But has the Inane Blather endorsement for mayor.
Yeah, we're not. We have. It's our PAC is able to endorse candidates. You know, the PAC that we have, like the super PAC.
No, I'm saying you're nonpartisan, like what you work for and stuff like that. You can't, right? You know, or I guess maybe you can personally
they can, but
they can.
You have to. Well,
or they don't,
because we do have a PAC.
Okay,
but you have to be like, if I'm in a capacity of, of just like doing 501c3 work, like educating the community in a nonpartisan way. Like I could not have anything out for our endorsed candidates, like with their stickers or anything like that, because of how my time would be counted and like requirements of like a lot of events. You couldn't just be like stumping for a candidate, you know, like to be expressly political. But I don't know if we will make a mayoral endorsement because of just whatever reasons. But I don't want to throw them under the bus. But but yeah, me personally, and like Humby and I just sent my democracy. Actually, I didn't send them out. I have them right here. My democracy vouchers. I did all 4 of them for Katie Wilson. She's awesome. She's a progressive. The story she was talking about, she moved to Seattle in like the early 2000s when she was young, like working these hard jobs, like from New Orleans.
Okay.
No, but maybe not New Orleans, but she's from somewhere over there. But I think something like that.
From over there.
I can't remember now. Actually,
okay. Not
California. She's actually from like
she's
from North Carolina or something like that. Yeah.
One of those
actually, and I'm trying to think
places.
But
so you know,
it is.
One of those like you know,
nothing like a good New York slice.
Except North Carolina,
more southern,
slice.
Yeah. Like nothing like a good New York slice.
New York City.
She worked
that's
like
how she talks.
Jobs. Yeah, that's gonna be the mayor of Seattle.
Sound like one of those
head bonk to individuals.
Yeah, like all Seattleites. But she was talking about
all Southerners.
Talking about like the low-paying jobs that she got when she first moved there, like a young person who like dropped out of college, and just like some like the people that she thinks about when she's running this race, and like how it's like those people might not even live in Seattle anymore because the cost of living would have pushed them out. Like understanding, you know, one guy who was a Latino man working 80 hours a week with no overtime, and Katie's like, no, we should do something about this, and he's like, no, I'm undocumented. Like I can't do that. And like just really she's like really been like a person of the people, you know, like really worked these shady kind of jobs and unsafe like painting company where it's like they wouldn't even buy us ladders. He made us stand on buckets like upside down or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Just like
big
all
a
that
big
kind of
stack
stuff.
of them for a 2-story house.
Yeah.
Oh! You gotta have 2 spotters.
I think it's not very windy here. Yeah.
It's all slippery in the rain.
Yeah.
Well, we have
Covered
3
in,
bucket
like-
stacks, so you can climb up to the top one.
Yeah, exactly.
keep-
We're not crazy.
Or you hold buckets and you keep throwing them underneath you so that you can keep like going
Getting
up and up
bigger.
and up and up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have
You
to
have to
figure
have
out how to
Cirque du
get
Soleil
down.
experience.
Yeah.
You have to jump up and pull off one bucket at a time and jump onto that one.
Cirque du
You jump up in
Soleil.
the air and yeah.
They were
So,
well known
it
back
was-
in the 80s.
It was really moving and like it felt really hopeful, and like their whole messaging is like, whose city is this? It's our city, you know, and how
Mhm.
Bruce Harrell, the current mayor, has done nothing about the things that are the biggest problems, which is like homelessness, which is like the cost of housing, which is, you know, better access to public transportation and those kinds of things.
Mhm.
He's a rich guy with rich friends, and Katie's not. She's like, she's passed him in the polls and kind of like popularity.
Nice.
And she
Wow.
outraised him with democracy vouchers. Yeah. She has not outraised him overall. He has some
No,
bigger donors and stuff.
course.
But a lot more democracy vouchers. And yeah, looking at, you know, more popular. And he's like, oh, people will think that she's popular, or they'll think that she likes her. People will think they like her until they hear about how like she wants to defund the police and wants to do this and wants to do that.
Until they find out she's
It's
a
like-
communist. Yeah.
Yeah,
Typical
exactly.
shit.
Like, and Bruce Harrell supported. There was a social housing initiative
Because everyone
earlier
loves
this year.
the Seattle PD. Oh man,
yeah.
they're well known
They
as
are
a great
beloved.
big city police
Yeah.
department. Good lord.
Oh, for sure. And Bruce Harrell supported. So earlier this year, there was Prop 1A and Prop 1B. Prop 1A.
I'm already
one.
confused.
Yeah, it was. The ballot was so confusing too. Actually, it was crazy.
yeah.
It was social housing.
Yeah.
and it passed. It was like 60% voted
Mhm.
for that. So
Because
Seattle
the majority
really
of the
wanted this.
campaign was getting out word on what it actually meant and how to vote, right? Was that whole thing?
It was.
yeah, it's
yeah, it
like,
was like,
hey,
okay,
this is what
so you
this
have to
actually
answer-
means.
Would you support social housing? Okay, the first one, would you rather have Prop 1A or Prop 1B? And then there was another question, or I can't even remember
It was
which
like
order it was in. Was
double
like, would you
negatives
support
and-
social housing? Yes or no? And regardless of whether you supported it, would you support this or this? And it's like, what the fuck does that? How do you calculate these votes? Anyways, it passed resoundingly for social housing, a tax on people who make over $1 million a year to fund these, you know, city built stuff that's on a sliding scale for rent. It's social housing, you know, it's socialized housing. So,
And this is housing you're talking about, like social,
yeah, social.
socialized,
Yeah.
Okay.
So Bruce Harrell supported
like
Prop
where people
1B,
live.
which was
People.
housing. Yeah, it's housing.
Okay.
Like societies.
Oh,
Uh,
get a load of this society.
mhm. So he supported the one that totally fucking lost by a long shot. And it's like, I feel like it's really telling, in my opinion anyways, it's like that alone, that one election where you were the face of the
So
campaign that got
disqualifying.
absolutely, yeah, like you have no idea what the majority of your constituents want. And you don't, I mean, like you
You
could
don't
at least
want
be like,
what they want.
wow, yeah, you don't represent them. You're a rich guy with rich friends, and you like to talk about your glory days playing football for the University of Washington or whatever you
God.
did. And it's like, God, whatever. It just seems like really, just like the epitome of, it's like, no shame. It's like, why would you be fucking running again? You're a fucking loser that nobody likes. You just supported something that really lost. People don't like you. Why don't you just cut your fucking losses and go become like an insurance salesman and be a millionaire?
Yeah.
Like you're like schmoozy. He's like
What's
super
your
like
deal?
personable and all this.
Yeah.
What's your fucking deal? You're not well liked. People don't Like, you won.
You want to
but that doesn't
win
mean
to
shit.
prove
Yeah.
that wrong. To be like, strong arm your way into a win with money and voter disenfranchisement until it could be like, no, actually, I am popular because look at that. I was elected mayor, and obviously, since I was elected, people like me. It seems like
Just
that's
ask
what
Eric Adams.
Yeah, exactly. All these people, it's like everyone hates you because you were elected. But it's like, and you never get like, it's not like you have huge turnout for these things either. And a lot of these people, even that are voting, are already disillusioned by all this, or underinformed on it. We're like, well, I guess, there's that old Cumtown bit with I think it was all part of the extended Donald Trump interview about Robert De Niro, gay and not Italian. Well, just an absolute classic. But like they're like interviewing, Donald Trump wins in a landslide, and they're like interviewing the average voter afterwards, and it's like, well, I mean, I voted for Barack Obama, but this time around, well, this other guy, he's he seems fine and all, but Trump, we're voting for president, and Trump is the president, so it only makes sense. It's like
That's so
there's
funny.
definitely people like that, where it's like the day of, where it's just like, well, I mean, we're not in a
The devil
nuclear
you know.
holocaust, so might as well
I
vote
think,
for whoever's in there. They're the one with experience. They're the one that's there. That's the name I know,
it's like-
because they're the incumbent.
Because they won. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what could this new person possibly be? I don't know them. I don't know that. That's scary.
The devil you know. I love those idioms, sayings, whatever, colloquialisms, all those kind of things that people say. And
Turns
that's
of phrase.
and like simple kind of succinct like wisdom or whatever it is, where it's like, people fear the unknown. So it's like you would much prefer the devil It's like, hey, things are bad, but at least I know what they're like,
Yeah.
I don't know about what's going on with
boy.
what you said. A woman with a name like Kamala.
Harris? A
A
hairy woman? A hairy woman named Kamala?
I don't know about that. This guy, I don't know. I'm here, right? That's fine. It's all good, man. Saul Goodman,
Man,
attorney at law.
Saul Goodman. Shakespeare came up with so many idioms. I mean, that, but
so many.
some of them, it's kind of
And
funny.
like straight up words.
Some of them are just like, it's like Shakespeare came up with, wear your heart on your sleeve. That's a classic one. It's like, wow, he came up with that. But he also, or the world's your oyster, but he also came up with break the ice, to break the ice, like with like saying a joke or introducing yourself. And with the phrase, what the dickens? He said that.
What the dickens?
Yeah.
Huh. I always thought that would have to be like,
I thought it would
Charles
be post
Dickens.
Charles
Yeah.
Dickens. No.
yeah.
It's Dickens with a lowercase d. And it's in The Merry Wives of Windsor, when it's used by a character called Mistress Page. Quote, I cannot tell what the dickens his name is my husband had him of. Act 2, Scene 2. Wow. Because for the word Dickens, it's old euphemism for the devil. Like, what the devil? What the devil? So it's just
because you
Stewie
probably wouldn't
Griffin.
want to say, devil probably too much.
Just
You're
a
probably
little-
not too,
A little,
you're like, little
filler.
lesson, a little history lesson.
yeah,
You
apple
know?
of my eye, foregone conclusion. That's Shakespeare.
Mhm.
Laughing
I know,
stock,
he's like-
night owl, with
Mhm.
bated breath. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
holy moly! But
I know.
so
He's had a bunch of bangers.
another
A bunch.
another good Oh. Oh, I'm not going to read that on the show. Oh, boy, my kid is growing up. Jeez. But another Seattle win, kind of. You're talking about Katie's rising in the polls, and also the
So we had
woman that was being yelled about by those protesters, Kathy Moore.
Yes, council member Moore, who actually I was gonna say represents
Had
District
resting
6,
landlord
but maybe not,
face.
But yeah, she does. She does. She actually is resigning. So that's truly incredible. And I did hear a little tea that maybe it was like, she brought this proposal forth because maybe she had sort of like the backroom blessing of the council chair or whatever, council president or whatever they're called.
The council ottoman, one of those.
The lead, Sarah Nelson, and then Sarah Nelson pretty much just like let her be thrown to the wolves.
Wow.
Kind of like Kathy Moore, like really not supporting her legislation too much. And
instead she had to come out. She was like,
I was exposed as doing a giant fraud.
She abstained from her vote from it when it was in committee.
Good.
So it was like, Kathy Moore's like, so you make me, I do this very unpopular thing. Everyone really, Hey, that's just some of the tea that I've heard.
Wow.
But, so yeah. So she's citing health conditions, thoughts and prayers, and all that kind of crap. But but she could have. But
okay.
No one. I mean.
Oh, thoughts and prayers to
like,
the landlord/city council woman. Okay.
Yeah, who's like putting forth stuff. She's like, I want to be able to vote on
get rid of the ethics rules so she can do more landlord shit.
So she can kick out tenants in the wintertime.
Yeah.
That's essentially what the next vote. That's why workers' rights, worker strike back were so mad about that, because that's like, to end the moratorium on evictions. And
so I could be a literal monster.
In other news, Shama Sawant, former city council member, socialist on the Seattle City Council,
an
is
actual socialist, or ran as an actual socialist and was elected.
She was on the Seattle City Council, had some pretty big wins here. She announced today that she is running for a congressional office for Adam Smith's seat, which is here, one of the congressional districts here in Seattle. Yeah.
Man, he's old.
So for the House of Representatives, so that's pretty cool. She's gonna try to beat little Adam Smith. That'd be cool to have a socialist come from Washington.
You try to
She's
work
pretty
on her
polarizing,
campaign.
Shama Sawant. Excuse me. Yeah, I got a text about or if I could be at her press conference today, her statement, but I had a meeting. It was right the middle of a meeting I couldn't miss. But I think that's cool. Then we could have Pramila Jayapal and Shama Sawant as some congressional reps there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Shama Sawant is,
that'd be an uphill battle.
I think that politically, it's hard to make friends if you're like a hard line about your values, and you're a socialist in America.
Yeah.
Put on by the real estate, industry lobby. Kind of like they wanted her out because she helped get more tenant protections in Seattle, and like helped put like a limit on how much they can like increase your rent and stuff like that. So the real estate was like, fuck no.
They hate it. They hate it so much. If we can't squeeze every last penny out of these people, it's like for landlords, or like for the landlord class, it's almost like for how employers, there must exist this like 5% unemployment at equilibrium, to keep like this supply and demand in place for their labor market. it's almost like with landlords, they need to have homeless people. Like, you have to have the threat of being forced out on the street like those other people to be able to have that same kind of like so-called equilibrium. It's kind of disgusting.
If it can so be called. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely disgusting.
See, and that's just a roundabout another way of like, it's just another example of like this out of touch neoliberal, like real estate, landowning, elitist Democrat bullshit that you see in places like Seattle. It's disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
People, and it's something that people to the right of them and to the left of them can both agree on. And people that are right where they are, but are below them because they're not capital owners. I mean, it's like it really doesn't have to do with the right versus left at that point. You know, you have to look at it through class. But I mean, I think of like me or you seeing these shit libs the same way that like dad does, where it's like this is a problem, and it really adds up to them. I mean, in Seattle, they're going to win things. They're going to be in charge. In Washington, they are, but it's like they are an example of the type of stuff that doesn't work overall, because it's just reminding me of what we were talking about earlier with Ezra Klein. I mean, for anyone who's been following that stuff, it was a few weeks ago when he was going on his book tour about abundance, the abundance philosophy. Well, for whatever reason he coined this, his idea, of course, in short, is that to solve these major issues that we agree on, for the most part, of like, the housing crisis that we're talking about here, is make more housing, right? It's just a very YIMBY attitude, right? But his whole thing is, we just need to build it. And one thing that's really standing in the way of that is government bureaucracy and regulation. And that's something that has been that we need to recognize. People on the left, environmentalists, everything, it really slows down the process, and it stands in the way of helping those people that they want to help. And it's so fucking stupid that it drives me insane.
Gracie.
Like, I cannot believe that this is seen as anything other than neoliberal policies that have put us in the position that we're in right now, rebranded. It's all it is. It's just Clinton, Reagan shit that, like, for one thing, it's like either you're letting people burn alive in buildings, you're causing a financial crisis through deregulation of these housing markets, or you're letting large corporate entities really take control of these housing markets, or all three, the less you regulate this stuff. Let alone just all these this horse shit about like, you do these. I mean, it's crazy how much work you have to go through and how much time and effort it takes. And these builders don't want to build because of environmental regulation and stuff. Shut the fuck up. Like, he even talks about it in the book. Like, the fact that, where he found out this stuff and who he talked to get, like, this whole idea, his whole philosophy for this, he talked to builders. He talked to builders and real estate people. That's what they complain about. No shit, Sherlock. What are you talking about? That's what they always complain about. every year, no matter what. It's what you'll always hear, and it doesn't matter if they're builders or if they're in real estate in particular. If they own capital, if they own a bunch of land, if they own all this stuff, they're all going to complain about this, no matter what. And you know what? That's why a bunch of them are fucking Republicans. You're not going to solve any of this by coming to the Democrats and saying, you know what we actually need? We need to spur growth and get abundance and do all this and because we're getting all this money and it's getting bogged down in a system of rules. We need to slash regulations and really spur growth and get all these private companies to build stuff so that people have somewhere to live. Bitch, that happens already. You think that things just aren't being built? Like, stuff gets built. But because private companies do it, they don't build things for poor people because they're not forced to do so. You know how you force them to do so?
Why would they?
Through government regulation. And it's like, or you just have the government do it. And I don't give two shits if you think it's going to take too long to do it. How else is it going to get done? And another thing, no, it doesn't take too long. It's because of people like him and these forces that are like useful idiots of the capitalist side of this that are just throwing mud into the gears here that slow government progress down. It's like, what's the difference here? 100 years ago, we cranked out government projects like crazy,
like
dude.
Business.
It's like, we built the Hoover Dam in like 4 years.
Ever fucking heard of bringing electricity to the entire fucking country
Yes.
of America? You ever see how big that motherfucking thing is?
The Hoover Dam is insane. Like, it's crazy. It's so cool. You go on the tour of that and they explain how they built it. Like, just the project just to divert water, to run some machinery, to carve out a path to start building the Hoover Dam is already a massive project that takes hundreds of people and is moving thousands of tons of rock and dirt. And it's like really massive and epic. It's very cool. And it's like, can you imagine them doing that now? No, I can't. And it's not because government bureaucracy. It's like the federal government did that. Like, what do you think the difference is? It's because the federal government is just more hand in hand with private industry than it was then. And that's what you're encouraging. That's just neoliberal bullshit. Like, it just doesn't work. It's like it drives me as crazy as someone walking up with like the Laffer curve and being like, well, we should lower taxes because that'll raise the tax revenue. It's like, I want to shove you in a fucking locker, but I want to set the locker on fire and push it off of a bridge into a volcano because just don't speak. Don't speak to anyone.
As fuck.
Like, this has already all been like tried and tested and failed and disproven. It's done. We're done. Like, I don't get it. We try this stuff. That's fine. We try economic,
Sure.
like long-term tests. And we figure out that wealth concentrates in the wrong places, kind of like how some smart people say it's going to happen. Some other people say it won't. It all turns out wrong.
But
the people get fucked. Let's not do it. Okay? And you know what? So like I'm saying, these out of touch people don't realize that like working class people know this. Like, you don't have to be talking like rebranding this stuff as abundance and like coming to them like with this smug condescension and like trying to speak Republican to them about slashing regulations or like, rent control is going to kill us all, or something like that to get them on your side because it's not going to work. And we had mentioned it earlier, and I feel like it's all connected like that. You can see it in the Seattle City Council because they were talking about this on the Majority Report about that study, the survey of these people where they went and they kind of compared, like they explained like abundance, like and whether someone would vote for a candidate with this platform. They didn't call it abundance. They just explained what like the Ezra Klein abundance proposal was, and they compared that to just kind of a not populist, but a Bernie Sanders type thing. I forget what the methodology for the second one was. But hey, hi Humby.
Hey.
But it's like when you compare the, much more likely and somewhat more likely to vote for these candidate options. Like, so first candidate, the thing we need to do to make the government and economy do a better job of serving working and middle-class Americans is to get money out of politics, break up corporate monopolies, and fight corruption, That's what people want. Like, Democrats, much more likely to vote for that person, 62%. And somewhat more likely, 25%. It's like 87% of Democrats. And, let's see, what is this? 84% of independents.
And say that again, it's like fight corruption.
To
break
serve
up corporate monopolies.
Working and middle-class Americans, get money out of politics, break up corporate monopolies, and fight corruption, right? So the other one, the thing we need to do to make the government economy do a better job of serving working and middle-class Americans is to reduce regulations that hold back the government and private sector from taking action. Now, these combined, so much more likely that top, totally engaged
really got
yes
people.
For Democrats, 12.3% compared to 61.6%. Independents, 17.9%. So we've got 85% of people saying yes compared to, what is this? 35% of independents and Democrats. They're both,
I know which ones
they both
the
kind of
Democrats
match.
would choose.
And it's for Democrats and independents, where it's don't even look at these Republican numbers. These independents are when you look at these issues, these are the people that you could be catering to. These are normal ass fucking people that want you to reduce corporate power and get their fucking money out of politics. It's why Elon Musk is crazy unpopular right now, because it's a huge example of money in politics. He's the face of it, He's personified. He's have you heard his of course, because he's part of the Trump administration, but with Democrats, his popularity, his disapproval is 96%. With Democrats.
Yeah.
Although
Who's
at the same time,
percent?
exactly, I was like, who's the other 4%? What the fuck? What do you like about him? I guess maybe you're neutral? Why? But it's
I hate a neutral ass bitch.
These people, and it's not just saying yes, but those options that say I'm much more likely, not somewhat, but much more likely to vote for this person, where you have a scale of options and you say, yes, absolutely. You go 1 to 5, you say 5. I'm going to vote for this person. It overwhelmingly favors a so-called populist message, if it can so be called, you know? And
they wonder why Trump, like, wins or something. It's like, that's like pretty much what he lies, obviously.
Yeah, but he at
Don't
least
get me
goes
wrong.
where the wind blows, you know?
Yeah, he's the one saying, waste, fraud, and abuse. That's like
Mhm.
Doge's whole thing. So even though people hate Elon
People
Musk,
still believe that
they
shit.
think Trump, yeah, totally. And like, he'll talk about, he funds his own campaign because he's a billionaire and all this kind of crap. He's lying, obviously. We know this. He is a grifter. He is money in politics. He is all of these things. He is corruption. But
He is.
he, like,
Not good.
but he knows what people want to hear. What do
Yeah.
Democrats what do they even fucking say? Like, what are you guys even talking about? You have to, like, you're trying to win over the worst, most racist people by being like, yeah, maybe trans people shouldn't be in women's sports, and maybe our border does need more guns or whatever. It's like, those were, again, I'm just so over this obsession with winning over conservatives. Like, it's something you can do. You know how you do it? By getting fucking results.
Yeah.
Like, do something to actually, like, make their lives, and begrudgingly they'll give that to you. Be like, well, at least because I felt the impact of it.
Mhm.
The impact they're feeling
Got me
now
my
is
Medicaid.
yeah, they think that Trump is doing all this. It might take a little bit to. Some people are never going to be pulled out of their delusion of Trump. People on the left are, like, politicians are seriously obsessed with winning over conservatives. And I'm like, that's not even a lot of the population. And also, you can just have, like, some, like, no nonsense, common sense sort of reforms or whatever you want to have. You want to tackle this. But a lot of Democrats, you don't want to tackle money in government or money in politics. You don't want to tackle this kind of stuff because who would that leave you with? What, you're going to have some populist support? No, you need millions from whatever sort of big
Wall
pharma
Street
is,
and big pharma,
or
yeah.
whatever.
From real
so-
estate and stuff like that. Yeah, that's why.
Yes.
And the way that Hassan describes like Bernie's politics, Bernie Sanders, it kind of applies there in terms of, like, quote unquote winning those people over that are winnable from that side.
Yeah.
So-called, people that are like Obama to Trump voters, even if they're small
But
people,
a
but
lot of
it's a
them, they weren't-
movement. Like, because it's populism, it's about universality of these things. It's not about picking apart. It's not about identity politics. It's like how Bernie approaches, like, issues of, like, race and stuff. How they're constantly, the Democrats constantly trying to hammer him on race issues and stuff and their identity politics stuff. It's like, you just go with universal everything that helps working class people, helps black people, helps minorities, helps trans people, yada, yada, yada. And it'll help everyone. And then it's not racist, okay? Thank you. It just helps people. And it would do the same for, like, people on the other side of the political spectrum. It will help conservatives, this universal program that helps working class people. You know who it doesn't help? Billionaires. I don't care. A billionaire has one vote, okay? That's it. Fuck them. I don't care. So
Truly. And, those votes that were winnable, what I want to tell those Democrats? Actually, those votes that you really are so desperate for that are now Trump voters, you actually lost them.
Yeah.
Because you know who they voted for or would have voted for was Bernie fucking Sanders.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like, you lost them. You
In
actually
2016.
had them. That's what, you had those voters and you had the opportunity to really grow your big tent, to grow the majority here and get something done for these most people, other people that don't want that, real Trump lovers. What? You trying to bring those fucking racist, misogynist, just freaks?
Yeah, the
they
real
can have healthcare.
freaks.
They can have that kind of stuff. They're never going to be on board with trans people or DEI policies, and I don't give a shit because they're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
So they can just
But you
be
can get their
kicking and
kids
screaming.
some
Into the
progress.
21st century.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. But they lost it. Okay, that actually brings me to something that I just thought about when Umberto and I went to a rally. Did I talk about this? We talked to a communist, someone that's like in a communist party here in Seattle, and it's like revolutionary communist. And we had
Which
like
party?
she gave a speech there and everything, and we
Not the American
I can't
Communist
remember.
Party, is it?
No.
Okay.
But the Revolutionary Communist Party or something like
Okay.
that, whatever. But and it was cool. We talked to her for a bit afterwards. She had this really cool outfit on, and me and Umberto stood and talked for a while. And it's like, yeah, we kind of know what's talking about, whatever. But leaving the conversation, I was thinking, she's probably like in her 20s. The zeal is there. She's obviously, I feel like it's very morally righteous to want to have communism, classless, moneyless, all this kind of stuff. But I feel like when you're talking about uniting the working class, I really want to tell some of these communists, and it's like, yeah, so you know what that means is like a bunch of working class electricians that have problematic views on women and brown people.
Sure.
That's what uniting the working class means. Like, I want to get it through these communists' thick skulls. No, just kidding. But just
And
be
that's
like,
just in America.
it might
If you're a real
feel like,
internationalist, it's more than that.
yeah, it might feel like you have to compromise on your values a little to get this done. Just so you know, like, I feel like that it's just a funny thing to hear. It's like,
You can't be
know,
a
you're
real
giving a speech
communist
in-
and a woke scold.
Exactly. You're giving a speech in Cal Anderson Park, the heart of queer culture in Seattle. Yeah, great. Obviously, you love that. Obviously, but you're gonna have to like get out to Yakima and Spokane and places between that too. It's like a
The Palm
really like the
Springs of
working class.
Washington.
And just because you might be right, you do sound like an elitist woke scold, to these people. It's like you can't just educate, be like, oh, but we have to have working class solidarity. And this guy who's been an electrician for 30 years is going to be like, oh, okay, I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah.
It just was, it was just interesting. Obviously, I believe in the ideals, and I'm like, comes to a revolution, whatever, all that kind of stuff.
Grab 'em by the pussy sticker just came off my truck. Thanks for that.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of most working class people, most Trump voters are working class people. That's like
Most
what you gotta
people
remember
are.
there. Most people, every single person that you've probably ever met in your whole entire life, had a conversation with is probably a working class person, because I don't run around in groups of like,
Well, business
billionaires.
owners. Yeah, any business owner. But
Sure,
is not
but
working class. I mean, to that communist, they would
Yeah.
know that.
I guess, but it's like, if you're talking like just
The
wealth
petite
that you
bourgeois
even have or anything like
is
that,
the
but
bourgeois. Bourgeois?
I don't agree. It's like a small business owner out in some Eastern Washington town is not the same thing as Jeff Bezos. It's not the same thing as Elon
Sure.
Musk. It's not even close. I think that class consciousness, to me, it's like, it really is like encapsulates all of your wealth combined. It's like anyone who's worth less than $500 million, we're on the same team. So that's
Yeah.
a lot of people. That's like a lot of people, because, there's a lot of people that have way more than that have way more than
Yeah.
all of us fucking less than $500 million having people.
Yeah, I forget who it was.
so-
They featured Aaron Brown featured it. Maybe it was someone on Paul Bet Davidson. It was on PBD.
Yeah.
On Patrick Bet David, or I forget who it was on, but the guy was like, "Yeah, well, you think about how many billionaires are. If you ask the normal person, they would probably think there was more, or something. There are only 3,100 billionaires, and a normal person would probably think there's way more, right?" And I was like, "What? They would?" I was like, I didn't think there was more than that. I was like, what are you talking about? There's 3,000 billionaires? That sucks. What are you talking about? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's sick. It's demented.
There shouldn't even be 300. Yeah. Well, let's see. Oh, hey, shout out to Zach for pointing me in the direction of some Scottish television, I guess. For after that I tried listening to. It was a very, very interesting show. And we were talking before the show. It's kind of funny, and now I just have no time to talk about it. But I had even written down in here, I want a Seattle Storm jersey. I was like, I just wrote, Skylar Diggins, or like Alicia Clark or Jewel Lloyd from like 2018 championship season, or of course something like Brianna Stewart or Sue Bird, the classics, of course. But Jewel Lloyd or Clark would be pretty sick. I would like that. But it's just kind of funny. I was like, those dumb fucking protect women's sports chuckle fucks don't give two shits about the WNBA, and they never have, and it really pisses me off. And it's like, I hate that. And it just came to mind because you brought it up about trans women in sports and blah, 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 and how these people talk about it. It's like, when was the last time, before trans people were an issue to you, like, you were the same people saying that the WNBA shouldn't even exist if it got brought up. Like, and totally. Of course, you talk about, well, it's high school volleyball or, my daughter or something. I had someone on Twitter, they're like, well, you would think differently if your daughter was playing against a trans person. I said, no, I wouldn't. And I have a daughter. No, I'm not like you. I'm not a fucking bigot weirdo. Yeah. It's high school sports, you psycho. But I don't know. I just shout out to the Seattle Storm and Skylar Diggins. Yeah. They just lost to the Aces, but there's more season to go. On the road to the Commissioner's Cup. And I want to go watch a game and take you guys or something like that. Would be fun. But, P.O. Box 10. Well, no. If anyone wants to send me a jersey.
I actually have some, it'll take some planning anyways, but have some big news. Got a surprise. I went to an event. I bought a raffle ticket. I bought 2 raffle tickets for $5 each for a
raising money
profit. And the grand prize, which I won.
What?
Was 4 VIP tickets to a Seattle Storm game.
What?
And I get to be featured on the Jumbotron there with a message. So,
my gosh. I don't even know where to write on here.
Our pets' heads are falling off!
Oh my God.
LOL.
Oh, jeez.
Shut up!
There we go.
Shut up!
So...
That's cool.
So we'll
look
have
up
to,
at the Jumbotron and see Natalie and say,
I'm just an ordinary blue-collar slob, but I know what I likes on TV.
And that's Natalie in the VIP section.
And I'm going to say the N-word, which is Natalie. Yeah.
Which is Natalie. You're going to get on the TV and be like, give me the microphone and say,
I believe Israel has a right to defend itself unconditionally from every child in the occupied Palestinian territories.
And as soon as everyone starts booing,
a bunch of cowards.
Oh God, I accidentally touched it too quickly.
You're a fucking bitch. You're a loser, and you might as well wear diapers because you're a baby.
That's what I'm gonna say.
That is so awesome. What was the money getting raised for?
So, it's for an organization that promotes women in democracy. They've done like a bunch of like fellowships and things like that. Yeah. They've had like
so thoughtful.
Maria Cantwell, Christine Gregoire, Madeleine Albright. All these people like give speeches at some of their like leadership conferences for like young women, like high school age and like college age, and get them into running for office and blah 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 blah. So, anyways, it was like all these
but no
women.
Murray.
It was a moment.
Come on, man.
No, I think she's been there too.
Okay.
It's like all these
Okay, all
women
right,
in
all
Washington
right,
politics.
okay.
But Pramila Jayapal and
Cool.
but something I did realize in that room was that like I was like very aware of like class kind of, where it's like I've always felt
You're
like
and how
like
I
like
have
middle
it.
class for sure. I have like and all these bitches don't. They're just slobs. No, they like traveled all over the world going like
we do a little trolling.
like meeting like one time at a trip they went to Cuba and Fidel Castro shook their hand and all this kind of stuff. Like this group has been around a long time, you know, and yeah, just like
Damn,
really
that's cool. That'd be so
well
cool to have a picture
educated,
of that, put it on your wall. Yeah,
I
that's me
know.
shaking hands with
And, like,
Fidel Castro. No big deal.
Yeah,
we played
visiting
We
democracies,
played baseball
meeting-
together.
yeah, meeting with people and learning about it. So they're like very like it just was. I was just like felt like okay, grew up like middle class. You know, our parents both owned their homes and things like that. But it was like rural middle class. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't go study internationally.
No.
You know, we didn't have multicultural education or like any highfalutin stuff at our school, but really truly like just kind of the basics. That's like a whole other world, you know, that like people's parents diplomats and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, you know, just like living in other countries and
Yeah,
you
our
know,
school
doing
didn't
all
have
these
like
kinds of
a
things and going
model UN even.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Our
it just
school was like
I
a-
just felt very aware.
Had like a 35% passing rate on the state assessment test. It's like, sure, we had
yeah,
you know,
our school had the
we had
highest teen pregnancy rate in the state of Washington.
yeah. It's like we had privilege for sure. We live in American society as white people
Definitely.
whose parents owned their homes and both had college degrees. Well, one with a 2-year degree, but and it's like so much went right, but still, it's like, yeah, you can still have that, and everything's still determined by your zip code. I mean, you're in Podunksville.
That's a great example of it. Yeah. Truly, though. Yeah, we could have been raised in Seattle, and instead we got raised in like
BFE.
fucking butt fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and
Yeah.
hey, and now, I mean, the way that I'm getting a leg up is because my house burned down. Because I practically
Dreams really can come true.
it's practically the deal that I got on the first place reminds me of like Abe Simpson, where he won the house in a crooked game show or something by ratting him out or something like that is how he got the first house, and that's how he ended up being able to get Homer a home and starting their generational wealth. That's how Homer has
Generational wealth.
4-bedroom house making $8 an hour at a nuclear plant.
Yeah. As a power plant operator or whatever.
As
It's like-
the nuclear safety supervisor or
Oh,
whatever
he's
he
a
is. Yeah. Safety
Yeah.
inspector or something. But yeah. And you know, see, they know that sports are good because sports are fun. Sports
are fun.
human. They are
Competition
a
is fun.
human endeavor, pushing people to their limit and competing. You know, it's a war without violence. You know, battles and spirited competition that all ends in you know, fun and like
What?
oh,
Dolphins also play and compete and stuff. It's other animals too. Like not just, I mean, it is very human how like we really, really can devote a lot of time to it, but other animals do it too.
mhm. And you know what?
It is natural, innate with us mammals especially. We fucking love it.
And the left needs to stay on it. You can't Let it go to the rightoids. All right. Fidel Castro was a huge baseball player, and he pitched for the University of Havana, and he always had a great interest in baseball. He was part financier of a baseball team in Cuba, and he played it well into later in his life. Loved baseball. So, communist heroes, you wouldn't tell them, you wouldn't make fun of sports ball to Fidel Castro, would you? I don't think so. Okay. So
you wouldn't make fun of a
if
dolphin
you're gonna make
for
fun
racing.
of my Mariners, no. Just leave me alone. No. But
yeah, I think that it's sports are cool. Sports are fun. It's cool to be active.
That's how you get
right. What's the difference?
solidarity
going playing?
with the rest of the working class, right there.
Yeah, you play some sports. You play on a team together. Because sports are fun. Competition is fun because, again, yeah, it's so harmless. It's all in good fun. It's like Umberto has such a good attitude. How they're never a sore loser ever about losing, because they're like, if someone's gonna win, that means someone has to lose. So
Someone
that's just like part of it.
Someone has to be in last.
Yeah, it's like there is a role that has to be filled because that's the whole thing. You don't have to put a bunch of weight on it. It's fun to win. It can be fine to lose. It's fun to play. And you know what? That's a hating ass, bitch ass leftist take too, where it's like, like that's so fucking serious of you to not go play a game and like let yourself like run around and like play a sport. You can say what you want, professional sports, whatever. That's capitalism. That's not the sport itself.
Yeah.
It's not competition that's a problem. It's profit motive and the, ostentatious sort of glitz of
It's like, don't worry. We all hate the commercials too. Yeah. That's the worst part about an NFL game. Don't worry. We all agree.
Yeah. We like running around. Nobody getting hurt. Also,
cheering.
We don't like people to get
literally
injured.
cheer.
Yeah. Jumping up
It's
and down,
so fun.
chanting, woo!
Yeah.
Love it. It's so much fun. And to play it, it's like, how fun would it be to be so fucking good at something with your body like that?
Yeah.
Jumping, running, just feeling like it's like masterful, of just your reflexes and your teamwork and
if you're watching someone
communication and all these
shredding on
kinds
a
of things.
guitar
Fun.
or a great band, it's like watching people in sync on a basketball court or something like that. Every once in a while, it's like, it's kind of the same,
Ooh, yeah,
exactly, yeah.
Totally.
You just see a hot riff every once in a while. See people really get into a groove, just with athletic physicality and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. It's just a different way of looking at it.
Very fun,
I think. But you don't have to know all the stats. But if you're one of those leftist nerds, some of those sports, it's really fun to know all the stats too. You can definitely
autistic,
be a baseball fan.
Is the sport for you? Yeah.
I think basketball
it
too,
was meant for you.
But baseball for sure. But it's really on my mind. Finals are coming up. And I gotta admit, we're ending it right now. I gotta admit to my friends here, our listeners, that I'll be rooting for the Oklahoma City Thunder for the first time in a long time. But I think it'll be fun, and I think that they're going to crush the Pacers. So we can come back and listen to this and see how right or wrong I am. But we'll find out.
And either way, be like, I was just kidding. I wanted the Thunder to lose because
they stole our team from Seattle.
Exactly, yeah.
17
it's like
years
I just
ago.
was joking about that. So yeah.
But no, I think it should be
Can't
fun.
lose.
So if anyone wants to hang out and watch the finals with me, just hit me up on Twitter or get my phone. Only so many people listen to this show, so.
Yeah, anyone who listens to this show probably has our number.
or my Twitter. So, okay, well, I love you. And
Get him the f***
love
out of
you.
here! I'm sorry. I'm not f***ing kidding me. We're not gonna f***ing do the whole thing. We'll cancel the whole f***ing show.
And to all of the
Rightfully.
all of the people, that guy who cares so much about women's sports out of nowhere.
I'm sure he's a genius.
I'm sure you'd love to watch a Storm game with me.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, and I'll turn to him and I'll say, you know what?
Because there's like so much I would love to know about being a 21-year-old girl.
I'm gonna get you upset with that every week. Okay.
It's so disgusting.
Thanks a lot, Puritans.
Okay. All right. Shout out.
Okay, love you.
Shout out.
Shout out.
All right. Love you. Bye.
You know who you are. Love you. Bye.